going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode. Today we're going to be working on Ruby, but from my house. So, I'm not sure if you guys noticed or not, but the steering wheel on Ruby is like really crusty and like the leather is just caked up and cracking all over the place. So I actually ordered a steering wheel cover, actual leather wrap that you have to sew together. So we're going to be doing that today. And I actually already took off the wheel here. Not sure if you guys can see it too well, but it's really crusty. Just believe me. It's really crusty and cracked everywhere. So, you know, just like any other steering wheel, just two T30 Torx bits. Take it off. Unplug all of the cruise control and the airbag system. Oh, make sure you do disconnect your battery. Bad news if you don't. So yeah, just the two Torx bits, the T30s. You can probably see it here, but I took apart all the plastics. Just 1, 2, 3, 4 screws in the back. The only screws in the back, you'll see them. 4 screws in the back on this back plastic piece. This goes on the back side of the steering wheel right here. It goes just like that. And then on the front side, there's 2 screws also holding in this trim piece, the silver trim piece that actually holds the cruise control buttons. You can see where you just unplug these and they plug into the SRS wheel. And then you have the 2 screws, so you can see that right there. You have the 2 screws right there, and then the 1 screw there, and then the other one on the opposite side. And then you can just pop it off with your fingers and just lift it on out. Not that hard. So once you have all of that, which I'm sure. So once you have all of that, then you're gonna be left with this. And most of the times, the steering wheel covers, or at least I've seen a lot of people actually just wrap it over the existing leather, which makes it a little bit more thicker. If you don't care about that, then it wouldn't matter. But for me, I'm actually gonna remove this OEM leather because it's just so crusty and so nasty. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove this, and I'm gonna be using a knife, a blade, whatever you want to call it, something sharp just to cut all of the threads on the inside, and then you can just unwrap it. So we're gonna go ahead and do that right now. After cutting off all the threads, now it's just a matter of pulling off the old steering wheel. You can see it's just starting to rip. Let's see if I get that here for you guys. Oh, there you go. This is the old leather, really crusty and just nasty, and look at that. I'm sure you can see that in the light here. But yeah, it's time to go. So when you're done with that, you'll be left with the actual rubber material or whatever that the leather wrap goes over. So here's the new stuff. It actually comes with the threads and tape. Now, I've read on a couple forums where people actually just put the leather wrap over this without using the tape, and they just tied it up real good, or knitted it up real good, and it said it doesn't slide, it holds on perfect. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm not sure. I honestly don't feel like hassling with the tape on the steering wheel, which is It shouldn't be that much of an issue, but I just wanted it to be as easy as possible. You can see the red threads here, more red threads, give you more than enough. And then you have the tape here. I'm not 100% sure if I want to use this leather wrap that I got here. Boom. Got it with the center line, the 12 o'clock center line with the Mugen colors. And then perforated leather, just like the OEM with, not sure if you guys can see this here, with red stitching right here. And then the red threads. So this will be a nice welcome. So, oh, mind you, I've never done this before, so this can be difficult or tricky. I'm gonna go ahead and tussle with this thing and wrap it on, and I'll be right back. All right, so once you have it wrapped over, which was honestly not that hard, just wrap it over. And you want to go ahead and start getting your needle and stuff ready. I have never done this before, but they supply some instructions, and it's pretty generic instructions. But all right, guys. So after about an hour or two of just watching some other videos, reading the instructions, this is how far I've gotten. So you can see I've done the bottom portion already. Now I just need the top part. So I don't even know where to start. So I had to, when I was halfway done with this side, I had to start all over because I didn't like how things were lining up. So that took another whole half hour just to undo it and get back to where I was. But I'm going to show you guys what I learned doing these two sides, and the final side I have here. So I'm going to try to record as best I can, getting some good angles and showing you guys what I learned to make it look, or get as far as I did. Because I mean, I've never done this before, and it's just, if you don't know what you're doing, then you're going to have a hard time. But here we go. Yeah, so in order to see how much thread you might need, something that might help you is to just go ahead and unwrap the thread, put it over the section that you need, and basically outline it. And then you're going to want to do that twice. So basically you should be able to wrap the thread around the section that you're threading. You should be able to wrap it around twice, if that makes sense. And that's when you go ahead and cut off. I went ahead and I folded it over, and that'll show you how much thread. Folded it over, so it's basically going over twice. And then you just, once you've folded it over twice, see there's one long piece, and then you fold it in half. Or should I say you fold it in half, and then that should be enough because it wraps around the whole section that I need. So just to be safe, I'm gonna go ahead and cut off maybe an extra inch or two. I'm gonna go ahead and thread the needle. So you go ahead and try to get a good angle of this thing. So you want to go ahead and thread the needle, and then go ahead and tie this thing. Go ahead and double knot that. After you double knot that, something that's going to make it easier that they don't say in the instructions, you want to go ahead and cut off the slight bit of the excess. You want to have maybe about this much thread going through the needle. And now this is going to be the X factor here. You're going to want to get some matches or some sort of flame I know it's kind of might seem like whoa, but you're gonna go ahead and use the fire, and then you're going to, it's kind of hot. Oh, flame went out. Basically, the fire is supposed to shrink this end of the thread and make it hardened so that it doesn't come loose. So, I hope you guys just saw that. But once you shrink it up and get the fire on there, you can see it turns into like a black ball. It's very hard, so that'll prevent it from coming undone when you're going in and out of the threads. So the way you want to start these threads is on the back side of this leather. You're gonna see these end points where the thread starts and where the thread finishes. So here we're gonna start here. Here you guys see the start point of the threads right here. So you want to go ahead and thread the needle in between both of them. Just thread it in between both of them. So once you thread the needle in this start or end point, whatever, you want to go ahead and make another double knot, and that will basically lock this in place. Just make another knot and then you're good to go, and that will not come undone because it's in between both the threads, and that's basically your anchor point. So I just made the second knot. I want to stretch that out, tighten that real good. You cut off the excess and now you're ready to start. So these corners right here are probably the hardest corners. The easiest side you can start off on the Civic wheel is on the bottom down here. Definitely really easy because you can just you can squeeze together both fabrics or both sides of the leather, and you can easily just start the same way from the back side. You get your anchor point and you're good to go. Now for these corners here, you're gonna have to basically fold the leather. You're gonna have to fold the leather. Remember, we have your anchor point here, and this is not going anywhere. So you just fold the leather into the area here where your thumbs basically rest, and then on the back side you'll see where the stitching starts. So you want to go ahead and basically pair that up like so, and then you have the anchor point here, and to get started on the other side you want to thread through the other let's see if it picks it up. You want to thread through the other back side right here. So let me see if I can, other anchor point or the start / end point. To do that, boom, there we go. Now we have started. There you go. Oop. You go ahead and just keep pulling, and then you'll see how it just starts to bring itself together. And once you have that together, now you can start on the outside. So since we started on this left side, it's like tying a shoelace. You go crisscross. Once you have both anchors, you have your major anchor point and your second start point on the back of here. Then you're gonna do like a shoelace, crisscross pattern, in and out. Make sure you have set aside at least a day or at least like 4 hours for this thing, because you will be. It's not, once you get it started, it's not hard. It just takes a lot of time going in and out, left to right. But it's not hard at all. But yeah, hopefully that'll help you guys out in case you guys ever decide to do this yourself. Every time you have maybe three or four threads in, you definitely want to squeeze or pull on the thread just to make sure it gets nice and tight. Pull real good, because this thing is actually pretty strong. It's not gonna just snap on you. So you can pull. Let me see. You can pull real good on that thing. Make sure it's nice and snug, and it'll get nice and tight. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and progress further through this, and when I'm halfway or something, I'll go ahead and show you guys how it looks. Alrighty guys, so after about another 40 minutes, it is 90% done. I'm basically at the end. So you remember how at the beginning you start with the anchor points, so you also end at the anchor points. But this time you want to go ahead and go through the back side of the leather, just like the other time. End anchor point. So once you go through one anchor point, and once you go through the other anchor point on the back side, then you want to come around, and this is to finish off the thread. You want to come around and then re-thread or back thread, go back and thread 3 times, or go back 3 threads, or 3 to 5 threads is what the directions say. Once you go back 3 to 5 threads, and these corners right here are one of the hardest parts, because you really have to stretch the leather and really maneuver with the material a lot. So tighten this up, and then once you tighten this up, here's the tricky part. You want to go ahead and cut and leave about, I'd say, less than ½ an inch, maybe ¼ inch worth of thread. And then you're gonna take the same lighter or fire, light that up, and then the thread will actually shrink back, and that is what's gonna lock this. It's gonna lock this in and keep it secure. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now. Probably better if you had the other lighter with the button, with like the safety feature, but here we go. You want to be very careful with this. See it shrink back, and then boom. Not sure if you guys can see it, but that is how you secure the knot. Yeah, it's like, not sure if you guys can see that in there, but yeah, it'll shrink back and it'll blacken up and like get hardened, and that's how you know you locked it in. So that's not going anywhere, and now that leaves us with our finished wheel. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the plastics back on, and then show you guys what it looks like with everything put together. Alright guys, so disregard that last clip. I was staring at the steering wheel for maybe, I don't know, 5 minutes, and then I decided to take it off and try to fix some of the imperfections. Not sure if you can notice here, but I took off all the trims again. I kind of trimmed the leather some to try to remediate or try to fix some of the all the extra leather that was showing out. You can see it's visibly a little bit less leather. It's still kind of messed up here. As far as the stitching go, it's holding up pretty good though. This corner here was really tough. I fixed this side, and this side, but then I kind of really messed this side up because this still has the extra leather. But then if you look, it looks good from the front, but then if you put your hand on the back, you can see where I kind of have some leather sticking out, and that's because I kind of trimmed a little bit too much. And then you can see here where I kind of knitted it wrong, and here I kind of These are like glued in a little bit. I put some of the tape just to hold down these edges some, and this is held in pretty good. You can't tell from the front. But yeah, for my first time, I'm actually really happy. The quality is really good. For $50 you can't really complain. Just make sure you take your time. You know, just plan on your car being down for like at least 5 hours. But yeah, I mean, if you take your time and don't make the mistakes that I did, maybe try to learn from this, then yeah, it is totally worth it. Hopefully with the heat and stuff, maybe the leather will shrink and some of these wrinkles they'll go out, but I think it looks decent. So, and in case you guys are wondering why I chose these colors, it's for the Mugen colors, in case you guys didn't get that. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.